So Dan, you're live from
Oh,
Punk in Drublic.
yeah. Well, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm not there yet. I'm
Did did
I'm parked in a random parking lot and I'm picking up Barty, the bass player, in a minute, and then we're gonna shoot down, man.
did you
Ready
go
for round
yesterday?
two?
Did you go? Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
went
did.
yesterday.
Yeah, all day, man. It was sick. It was
Okay, so I have no idea where you stand politically, and I don't really like to even talk about politics, but something really funny happened yesterday. Somebody that's a
okay.
friend of mine sent me a photo of Dickie Barrett when he went on
Yeah.
stage from behind the stage, and he had his Kennedy 2024. So I posted it on Facebook, right? And I'm
Yeah.
I'm pretty liberal, not pretty. I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah.
liberal, and some people mistaken my posts, including I got to call him out. Jeff Connolly from the Liars actually blocked me because
No
they
way.
they thought I was promoting Kennedy. It's
Yeah.
just so funny that
Oh yeah.
a million comments and most people got the joke, but all I put was question mark, underneath the
Yeah.
photo because I thought it was hilarious. But
Oh yeah. He had it on the soup for sure, man. I seen it.
before we get into it, give me a quick review of yesterday and how it went.
It was incredible, man. Yeah, I got there pretty early. Rebuilder open, co-defendants, friggin' bouncing souls, circle jerks, man. Suicide machines are incredible. And then no effects killed it, man. It was a great day all around. It was so
You
good.
didn't mention the street dogs.
Street Dogs, the Defiant. Sorry, no, I saw it. Street Dogs, friggin' after Middle East. They even on the mic they were like, "We're hurting, man," because they partied so hard Thursday night. No, Street Dogs had a circle pit going around the sound booth. Actually, it was hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
You
But
know,
they, dude, it was like even Fat Mike was like, "We got every cool motherfucker from Boston here." He's like, I guess Christian Gangrene ended up he was there somewhere, so they ran into him, and then Dickie was there, Mike McColgan, Al Barr showed up during the Defiance set. It was crazy, man. It was
I
a
saw a
it was a
lot
good
of
time.
photos. I saw a lot of the
Yeah,
photos and videos. It was great. You
yeah,
mentioned
it was
Bouncing
awesome,
Souls. When I saw them a few years ago in Pittsburgh, man, I
dude.
regretted not seeing them many more times. They were
Right?
unbelievably good. And the
I bet.
Circle Jerks, I'm sure, killed it.
Yeah, legends, dude. He's
Yeah.
fucking 69 years old, man. And he's screaming his lungs out, dude. I hope I can be that fucking cool at that age.
I was at the House of Blues show that they played with 7 Seconds,
Yeah,
and
I went to that too. Yeah,
yeah, that was one of the best shows I've ever seen
yeah.
in my
Negative
life.
approach. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fucking awesome, man. Yeah, that
So
was a
we
good one.
just met a few weeks ago at the Boston Punk Rock Trivia Show. I got to see about 4 or 5 songs that you guys performed. Really liked what you guys are doing. I like the multiple vocals and the whole approach to it, and
Thank you.
really dug it. I want to go back here for a second. Where are you from, actually? What neighborhood? You're a Boston kid, right?
A suburb kid, but yeah, yeah. So I grew up in North Reading, about 10 minutes north of the city.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I
yeah,
know
yeah.
North. Yeah, near Wakefield.
Yep, right next to Wakefield. Yep, yeah. So kind of in the woods. It was more woods back when I was growing up. They throwing friggin' mansions up everywhere, but Um, yeah, so I grew up in North Reading, and actually two of the other members too, Barty, the rhythm guitar and vocals, and Fez, the bass player. We all grew up in the same town.
Interesting. There was a band
Yeah,
a long time ago, probably when you were probably too young, called Humans Being. They were a Wakefield band. They're one of the
I've heard the name for sure. I've definitely heard that name.
Yeah, Jamie from SSD's from out or lives there now. It's a
Oh,
pretty
okay.
cool area, man. It's a cool area.
Yeah,
Um,
it was cool to grow up in for sure.
what were you listening to when you first discovered music in your teenage years, or even before that?
So I've I've been I can't remember a time I didn't like love music for sure. 5 years old, listen to my uncle played. He played down in the city a bunch and playing songs like Aerosmith and shit like that. And then preteen, I don't know, when I was probably like 10, I became like a full blown metalhead, obsessed with Ozzy Osbourne, you know, I don't know, horns flying, like just loved that shit. And then I got Punk Punkorama Volume 2 when I bought a pair of Vans at friggin' Bob's in Middleton, Mass. And that was first song is Descendants. Second song is Pennywise. Third song is Rancid. Fourth song is No Effects. Man, and that like blew the door open for me for punk rock for sure. So I grew up. I'm 36, so I grew up like late 90s, early 2000s is when I was like an early teenager. So all that 90s punk, man, I just became obsessed with it like instantly after hearing that comp.
Yeah, even though the Descendants, started in the 80s, they put out that great record in
Yeah.
98, and that brought a whole new group of fans. They're one of my favorite bands too. I love
Oh,
you named a bunch of West Coast bands. I love West Coast punk bands too. No offense against the Boston, New York, DC, but the punk
no, not
bands
at
from
all.
yeah, California has definitely done their share. So,
Absolutely.
you got into all those bands. Were you playing yet?
I was begging for a guitar since I was like 5 years old. I got one at 11. Um, so right around then, yeah, and it was right to the races in middle school punk bands and shit. I'm playing the Battle of Bands at my middle school in North Reading. Yep, and we actually the town had itself like a little scene for a little while. Um, my older brother was also in the scene, so that helped me, dive right in. His
Yeah.
friends, they had a great band, and there were a couple other bands around here. The Dropkicks played in North Reading, friggin' like 1996 or something. And that was a hometown. Everybody talked about it forever. But we had a couple older bands like the Carpet Patrol. They went down, played the Rad and shit. I was too young for that, but knowing about all that, I think, was just molding my head to just be so into it. Just hearing the stories of even kids, 5, 6 years older than me. So my kids my age, we were like 11 and 12. We're like, oh well, we gotta start our own bands. We gotta do that now. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was it was a good influence. Like it. So we held our own shows at like our town park and shit like that just to get shows going. Man, it was cool to do that. Even looking back, that starting that young.
Were you in a lot of bands before Already Dead?
Not so much. I Yeah, but not as a guitar player songwriter. This is my first go with that. I was a bass player, man. I played in a lot of bands, just bouncing around. Not necessarily even in the punk scene. I like to treat that. I think that's like a little different. Like I like to think of myself as a hired hand in that form. Like I'll go play a blues set, man, if you want. You know what I mean? As a player, I enjoy playing everything. But when it came to so Already Dead even started like in the COVID years, right?
Yeah.
Live music died. We could, I was playing in a few other bands, like nothing too too active, but it was enough to like fill my time and stuff, just
Did you
playing
ever
shows.
did you ever get to record at all
Oh yeah.
before? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
Got a lot
what
of cool opportunities. Yeah.
so were there a lot any bands that anyone might have heard of that you recorded with before Already Dead?
Not no, they were all local for sure. Local friends and shit like that. But got to work in some cool studios and different projects. Um One actually, it was me and Fez, who's the bass player of Already Dead. We've been in bands before, and me and the drummer Nick. That's how Already Dead started. Like I sent Nick some demos because we had nothing to fucking do. Live music was dead. So I was like, "Hey man, you want to just fill some time? Maybe we go record a project." It wasn't even supposed to be a band. It was just whatever. Because me and Nick had known each other almost 10 years. I met Nick through Craigslist cover gig ad because I was just looking to like fill some time. I answered a Craigslist ad to go play bass and
Yeah.
met him. He was 18 years old and I was like 27 at the time, and I just knew that kid was talented, and we immediately clicked because he grew up on like ska punk and shit like that. So we started jamming. So no, it was never like any big band opportunities, but a lot of just opportunities to meet people and network just by hanging out and fucking playing with different musicians and stuff. So when you go to try to put something together, at least you got like a list of people.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
guys were a three-piece for a little while, right?
Yes. Yeah. It was me, Nick, and Brandon. Brandon was on bass, and
And those two guys are the guys that grew up in North Reading?
Brandon did. No, Nick grew up in Concord, New Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then Fez, the last member who just joined, he's from North Reading too.
Nice. Yeah, you guys
And,
are really good as a four-piece. I obviously didn't see you when you were a three-piece.
yeah, it helps, man. It fills the sound out like a lot, you know.
Do you hear from a lot of people about the similarities that Already Dead have with, like, say, the Street Dogs, who we talked earlier, that like
Oh yeah,
blue collar.
yeah,
Obviously, we're going to get into this because you're
yeah.
obviously blue collar. But
Yeah.
did that influence you a lot as far as your songwriting goes and in the direction you wanted to go in?
I'd say yeah, without purposely being influenced by it, I think it is. Yeah, like because I love the Street Dogs, man. I love the Dropkick Murphys. Even I'm proud to be from the city that like promotes that blue collar shit, you know. And um, I without a doubt, I'm influenced by both those bands, like
Are
the Street
those
Dogs.
bands are those
Yeah,
bands aware of your band at this point? Because it seems like you should be on a bill. You should
I,
be playing with them bands, you know?
not that I know of, but that's totally fine, man. I'm just happy to listen to those guys. You know what I mean? Been fans of them since I was a kid, for sure.
Yeah, I have a feeling you'll be sharing a stage with them. I don't know if the Street Dogs together permanently now, or is this just a temporary reunion thing they're doing?
I don't even know. I'm not sure. I think, yeah, I don't know. Because I knew the Defiant was on the Punk and Trouble bill since it started,
Yeah.
since it was announced. And then the Street Dogs kind of got mentioned last minute. So I don't know if it's just because Johnny was going to be here, Johnny Rio or something, and they just decided to do something. I'm not sure, man.
So Johnny played with both bands yesterday.
Yeah, one after another, too. Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Lenny was there doing a song with the Street Dogs. And then I think he definitely hung out. I saw him like just teching for the Defiant or something. He was still on stage too. Yeah.
I saw Rick Barton was there too, and he had a lot
No
to do with
shit.
the
Nice.
street.
Yeah.
Did he sit in with them yesterday?
If he was probably on stage. If he did, I missed it. I didn't hear. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of him hanging out there. He produced one of their records and co-wrote a bunch of their songs, so
Yeah.
he kind of had a lot to do with them a little bit. So getting back to your band,
Yeah.
so you formed around 2020, you're saying, or 2019, something like that?
2020 for sure. Definitely height of COVID. All my future shows have been canceled. I'm like, fuck, I got to do something.
Now, did you have a lot of songs written at that point?
No, just a handful, and never had actually planned to do anything with them. I in my head, I'm like, oh, I would love to put these out one day, but one of those songs, man, is like over 10 years old. And so the first seven songs are just like songs I had on my hard drive that were the most complete, I guess. So we're like,
And
fuck it.
and
Well,
that's My Collar is Blue album. Is that
yeah.
where they all ended up?
Yeah, so that's our first album, My Color is Blue. And that's basically what happened. We went into the studio just to record them as a project, and it just went pretty naturally. So then we're like, oh, should we just let's come up with a name, let's come up with the album, you know what I mean? And let's play some shows, and just kind of evolved like pretty easy. It was great, man.
I went back and checked out some of that because I hadn't heard it before. I was really surprised when I heard Cities Burning with Boss the Rapper. How did that come together?
So Boss is a good friend. I've been in a band with him before called Urban Suburban, which we blended a lot of like there was punk influence, there was a lot of hip hop influence, obviously, but we had another singer. But so he's just a good friend and a great lyricist, right? So and just me and him, we just send each other projects, whatever we're working on, because you know, I'm always gonna play music. I'm always gonna create music in some form or another. So and he's the same way. We'll just send
Yeah.
each other shit we're working on. So when City's Burning was like a weird one because it wasn't like a complete song. But then when we were deciding to do an album, I'm like, well, I want to get you on one of these because me and him have worked on songs before, so it was pretty natural for that to happen too.
Yeah,
Seemed natural to us.
it was a pleasant surprise actually when I heard
Oh,
that song. I was like, wow, it's like serious
us.
versatility. I
Thanks.
mean,
My
um,
my cousin called the My Color Is Blue. My cousin called it a sampler platter of punk, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty fucking all over the place. Yeah,
I was going to get into this a little further before when we talk about something like a war, but I must as well ask you this now. You wear the blue collar vibe. Was that like your intention all along? Like you wanted to reach? Because you're a pipe fitter. Is that what you do?
yeah. I'm a union pipe fitter. Yeah, in Boston, and
So talk about that and what does that mean to you as far as you're putting making your music about that?
so um, proud to be a union pipe fitter, of course. Proud. It's a tough job. Proud to do it. Um, but some of these songs, right? So I was coming up with at work, like I'd be in a scissor lift 30 feet in the air, just like doing something, just whatever. You got this melody in your head. Oh, I'm going to record this on my phone real quick. So it kind of just overlapped to when we were trying to make it a band and like, all right, if we're going to be a band, you should have a statement, you should have a story or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something, something to stand by
An
and
angle, an angle. Yeah.
an angle. Yeah. Let's call it an angle. Yeah. And I was still like just out of my pipe fitter apprenticeship and still gung ho, into the career and whatnot. So, which I still am. I still kind of, but so it just seemed natural. All right, let's base it around that because Barty, the other vocalist, he's a union iron worker. At the time, Nick was a CDL operator working on machines. So we're like, it seemed good. And I had already wrote that song, My Collar's Blue, driving home from like a night class from my apprenticeship. So that was one of the songs already. So I think we just kind of rallied around that as our angle.
That's fantastic, man. I
But
love that. It kind of represents the real old school Boston kind of hard working vibe. I
yeah,
think, well, the Dropkick Murphys and the Street Dogs. I mean, that's what these bands really are about too. So you guys are
dude, yeah,
continuing the tradition,
right. And I'm
of the
and I'm proud to do that.
I think it's great, man. I think it's great. Now, something like a War album, fantastic album. I wanted you to tell me about Jimmy Corbett because his name kept coming up, and I noticed that you guys have worked together for a while, and
Yep.
the growth has been really amazing. So, what's your relationship with Jimmy? Because I didn't know about Bridge Sound and Stage Studio. I didn't know about any of that until I heard your stuff.
Okay.
And you and Jimmy seem to have a thing going.
Yes. Well, number one, he's another hometown boy. He's from North Reading. I swear to God. And we Jimmy and I played in a band before. It was more like a melodic hardcore band, like a Kill Switch Engage, because that's his style of music.
Yeah.
But him and I got along really well. And then when I went to do these recordings, I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit up Jimmy because number one, he worked at the Bridge Sound and Stage in Cambridge, right on Mass Ave, man, which is an incredible studio. And so Jimmy was already a house engineer there. So it was a foot in the door that way, but also because me and him, it was just easy, you know what I mean? There was no stress of going in to work with somebody you didn't know. And I talking about the evolution, I couldn't agree more, man. With my caller, I didn't really know what I wanted at the time. We were just trying to get some songs down. I think that was Jimmy's first step into like working with a punk band style.
Yeah.
And so we both just, discovered things. It was a little trial and error on that first album, but couldn't be more happy with it for sure. But I think the evolution into something like a war, especially the production wise, like it's top notch, but we also went a lot more raw with it as opposed to My Collar Is Blue. which was a lot of me getting over some self-conscious shit about vocals, or Jimmy, whatever, his evolution of getting guitar tones, or, mixing in the vocals on top of that shit. But it was, I couldn't be happier with the evolution me and Jimmy got going on. And I think it's a great partnership too.
What's your
You know?
what's your studio process like with him? Do you guys record live or how do you guys record?
So I usually come to him with some demos. The past couple times has been, we've been layered. We've drums, then guitar, then vocals. We're going back actually in November 2nd, to do like an EP, and I think we're gonna shoot for all live this time. Whole band in one room, banging out the songs. Now that we got the four piece, now that we've worked, with Jimmy, we've all worked together we got some history now. I think let's go in and try something new.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
working. It's working. And I'm going to talk
Thank
to you about some of this stuff. Now, let me ask you one other question. You said Jimmy's also from North Reading. Did you guys like basically grow up together and go to school together?
I I'm older than all of them. I'm the oldest one. So I didn't know him in high school. No,
That's why
he's like
you're
five.
doing the interview.
What's that?
I said that's why you're doing the interview.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Most mature. No. um, no, yeah. So I knew Fez, Brian, the bass player. He was a couple years younger than me. I didn't know the other two till after high school, really. I think and at this point, we've all reached our 30s. It's just whoever you can hang on to that still wants to work on this music shit. The ones who aren't giving up.
Yeah, from my conversation I had with you guys, I know it was a brief conversation. I could tell that you're very serious as a band. So I picked up on that. You have that.
Yeah.
It was kind of a strange first way for me to see you guys because I didn't really know what to expect. There was a lot of fun, though. I got to admit, I had a lot of fun that day.
Yeah.
It-
It's a cool
you-
road,
yeah,
cool vibe. Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, something like a War album came out in July. Um,
Yes.
let's talk about rock bottom. Um, we're all a lot closer to the bottom than we'll ever be to the top. I mean, everyone can relate that. Now, I don't know where I got this, but I pulled this quote out somewhere. On Rock Bottom, songwriter Dan Cummings relays the tales of fictional characters who climb the career ladder to get to the top, only to have on-the-job injuries and medical conditions derail their entire lives. The Boston Union pipefitter uses his keen sense of working conditions and job site politics to humanize both characters' rise and fall. That's an excellent quote. And that pretty much is probably the deal, right?
Yeah. That was very accurate. Fuck.
So you
Yeah.
saw a lot of tough things and it made you want to write this song.
Yeah, I think so. It was they're fictional stories for sure, but it's just e- examples of something you could see, right? And something I may have witnessed, but not, the guy's name wasn't Jimmy or something, whatever. But yeah, and I think I just wanted to write a song, just a reminder, man. You can be moving ahead. You can feel like you're climbing up, especially on the blue collar side. Like you can feel like you're moving ahead in the world, and then one accident and you're down and out, and it's a physical
Yeah.
job, so you're not working. It's just that reminder and humility that, like, to anybody who would think like I'm getting above the guy I came up with. It's like, hey, we're all on the same level, so we're all working class. We're all, I don't know, the same neighborhood. Nobody's, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
there is a top one.
you
None of us
know,
are in.
I've
Yeah.
known a lot of guys like that in my life. I'm a lot
Right.
older than you, so I've seen it my whole
Right.
life. And I
Yeah,
thought,
man.
and if you're out there listening to this or you're watching on YouTube or whatever, go find this song, Rock Bottom, listen to it. It's everywhere, anywhere you listen to on whatever platform, and
Yeah.
you're gonna dig the vibe, man. It's
Yeah.
like a real great story. I know you guys are nothing like Bruce Springsteen, and I'm not really that big of a Springsteen fan myself, But if you're a fan of Bruce Springsteen and you hear this song, you're gonna love it. I'm telling you right now.
I'll take that as a compliment,
Yeah,
man.
it's a
Thank you.
total about the American worker and what they go through.
Right.
We're a
It's
lot
just
closer to the bottom than we'll ever be to the top. I mean, it's
right.
never.
So, yeah. Us fighting each other is never going to help anything, But and I think that's an easy way to keep everyone distracted and to get other, you know, do what they do behind closed doors. Because if we're battling each other, we can't focus on the ones who are really profiting off our labor, our work. So I think it's just important, man, to like just so quick. And I guess because you're next to that person every day, but like maybe see them as your enemy. It's like, dude, that's not the case, man. You need to like broaden your view of the whole thing.
Um,
But
was it Jennifer Boyle or Mark McKay that approached you guys about playing the Boston Punk Rock Trivia Show?
I want to say Jennifer first
Yeah,
had
because she
messaged
loves
us.
you guys. She was raving about you guys because I had heard the name, but I
Yeah,
wasn't completely familiar with the band. It's really funny because I was telling my friend Alvin Long, who the owner of New Alliance Recording
yeah,
Studios, I said these guys might not have known it. I'm going speaking about the Grubs and Lobo Hombre as well,
yeah,
but there were a lot of important people in that room that
dude.
really could help you guys with your career. I mean,
I
you had
know,
Curtis from Tang Records there. He signed some great bands. Al Quint, who's probably the quintessential punk rock writer. Joni Lindstrom from WMBR, great
right,
station. Sean McNally, who books all the big punk and hardcore shows in Boston,
right,
a
man.
great podcaster, me, just kidding. But
Yeah,
the
absolutely,
but
brother.
it was like a really good crowd to all find out about you guys at once.
I know, man. I realized that when I was in the room already, for sure. Because I
Plus,
started,
Springer from SSD was there, Chris Doherty from Gangrene. I mean,
I
it was
saw Springer, I saw Springer grab an already dead stick, and I was fucking psyched. Just grabbed it up,
yeah,
walked by. I was like, yes. I don't even care if he threw it away. I saw him take it. I was pumped.
yeah. I didn't really know if you guys were really aware of what was going on because there weren't a lot. They didn't sell a lot of
Beforehand,
tickets, unfortunately.
right?
But the quality, there were the 100 people that were there was a quality
And that
crowd.
and that's what we were talking about after too. You know what I mean? Like either way, it was a great time, and the tables were filled. Yeah, maybe the room wasn't packed, but like the people that were in that fucking room, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't realize that beforehand for sure. So it was a little shock, a little excitement, like you know what I mean, and a little just like let's roll with it, let's do our thing, no matter what, have some fun. Hopefully they stick around, and but yeah, either way, it was a great
Well,
day.
I watched the like 4 or 5 songs and everybody was like running to go here and go there. But Tom
Yeah.
Wilson was standing next to me and he just got off the road with Alanis Morissette and Joan Jett. He's their stage
Oh wow.
manager. And
Yeah.
plus, what's his name? Skybar was there too. Skybar loves
Oh
you
yeah.
guys, by the way.
I love Skybar, man.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make that point because I know that you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
probably figured that out.
We we did, but not until I was sitting in that room for sure. Because I'm like, Barney's like, dude, that's fucking Chris from Gangrene, and I just turned. I'm like, what is going on here? You know what I mean? But in that excited way, for sure. But
Yeah.
no, and that was a but to have everybody in that room was a trip. To do it for a great cause was even better, man. No, that
Yeah.
I had a completely successful day, and I was happy and honored to even be asked, to come play.
And
And
you know,
Jennifer's
every op- and
Jennifer
every
was
op-
incredible.
yeah, and every opportunity I get to tell people that my team won the punk rock trivia contest, I do. And we gave
Well
the
deserved,
money. Yeah, we gave the money back too.
right?
We went for the Gaza kids, to help
Yeah,
those kids out.
of course.
All right, I'm all over the place today, but I want to talk to you about. I'm not letting you off the hook yet.
No
Spirit
way,
of
man. Kill it.
Massachusetts. As much as I love Rock Bottom,
Yeah.
Spirit of Massachusetts, I think is my favorite song on the record. I
Shit.
mean, I think it's just great. What is
Thank
that? So, what is? Talk to me about that song and tell me what's going on here.
you. Yeah. So Spirit of Mass Ave. I was working on a.
Mass
I was
Ave.
working a
Sorry, I
trend.
said Massachusetts, but I meant Mass Ave.
No, no, you're right. I just shortened it at this fucking point because I'm lazy. No,
Okay.
Spirit of Massachusetts Avenue is the full title because I wanted to, the first sample of the song is kind of poking fun at that old cheesy Massachusetts tourism commercial. Spirit of Massachusetts, Spirit of America. I'm like, now I gotta call it Spirit of Massachusetts Avenue. But so that uh that idea came from I was working on a trench job at MIT for about like 2 years, and I was still going to night school at my union hall in Dorchester. So it was a straight shot, after work, I just drive straight down Mass Ave to get to it. So I was doing that twice a week for 6, 7 months at least, whatever the school year was. So, and you can't help but notice when you leave MIT, one of the most prestigious schools in the world, drive past the Back Bay, millions of dollars in real estate, all this beautiful scenery, and just the transition, right? So I started like having like tunnel vision on it. Like if you just focus on, I'm only driving on one road, it's, and by the time you get to New England Medical Center, just, I started thinking about not more the people I'm looking at, more the allocations of resources like that go into these neighborhoods, and what can be done. Because if you're not thinking about it, oh, that's Dorchester and this is Cambridge. I'm like, I'm starting to think about it. It's just all Mass Ave, man. So what the hell are we doing? You can't just celebrate your successes without addressing things you need to work on. So that was kind of the idea about the song. And it definitely has no answers. I'm just raising questions because I'm not an elected official. It's not my job.
Really good.
But
That's really, really cool that you came up with a
hey,
song on a drive because the point you made is incredible. You see every type of life in person
right,
driving on Massachusetts Avenue.
right. No matter where you are on it. Yeah, for sure.
You could go all the way to Lexington. And
Can
if you
they?
think about Lexington and then you think
Yeah.
about Roxbury, I mean, come on, I
That's what
mean,
I'm saying. And it's not, I'm not shitting on one side. I'm not saying one side's smug. It was just an observation. I kept calling the song an observation.
it's the
If you
whole
put
country on one street pretty much, right?
pretty much, yeah. And like, for better and for worse.
I think
Yeah.
you mentioned the word Cambridge in the song, right? You
Oh, yeah.
say,
Came.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go read the lyric. I'm sorry, I should have read the
Oh,
lyrics
no
before
worries.
I asked you, but
Oh, no.
you're the
I said
whole
Cambridge side too, because my my grandmother lived. My father grew up like outside Central Square, so and when I was see my father as a kid and shit, I was down there all the time. Cambridge Side Galleria was our spot to walk to, so
oh
I
yeah.
threw Cambridge Side on the in the song. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, even from Harvard Square to Central Square, the difference in the street is remarkable.
Right, exactly, man. And again, no answers. I don't have the fucking answers, but I'm just bringing up a observation.
I
You
like
know.
your observations. All right, before
All
I
right.
let you go and have fun, because you're going to see Dropkick Murphys are the headliner today, right?
Murphys are today. Yep, the Flatliners, Teenage Bottle Rocket, Colin of Arabia from Boston. It's gonna be a good day, man.
Two great days in a row. I should be there.
Fuck. No
Unfortunately,
offense.
I'm recording podcasts and working. Uh,
I hear you.
so before I let you go, what are some of your favorite bands these days? Can you just name a few for the, maybe someone that, that isn't obvious?
Uh, I mean, for me, new music on like more national level. Co-Defendants, dude. They played yesterday. I am I am one of the biggest fans of that new band, and it's Fat Mike is involved. Um, but it's an indie hip hop. So have you heard them yet,
No.
dude? Yeah, I recommend checking them out. So it's an indie hip hop rapper named Chesky, who's from New Haven, Connecticut, and then it's Sam, the lead singer of the punk band Get Dead,
Wow.
um, who's on Fat Records, and then Fat Mike is also involved. So they do some crazy. So obviously, City's Burning. I'm influenced by blending hip hop and punk rock, transplant style. But Codefendants is like taking it to another level, man. So I couldn't recommend checking them out more for sure.
Anyone else?
Local level, Graniteers, baby, our good friends from Manchester, New Hampshire. I think they are just killer. They are great punk, like rock and roll. You know what I mean? Like maybe blending, leaning towards 50s, but great melody, dude. They're incredible. They played our Something Like a War album release show back in on July 27th of Lowell. And we had Lenny Lassie on the bill too. That was a great night, but I couldn't promote the Graniteers anymore, man. And they're coming out with some great music right now too. So I'd check them out.
Did you say that was in Lowell?
Yeah, our album release was. Yeah,
Really?
at
Wow.
31st. Yeah, on Market Street. Yep. It was cool, man.
Um,
We played in Lowell a lot, so it was cool to do our release there.
a
You know,
smart move because Lowell is like probably the fastest growing
dude. Yeah,
place.
and
And
I lived there for a few years back, a while, probably like a decade ago now. But yeah, so I lived there like 3 4 years. So I love downtown, and it's booming, man. We played at Thirsty First, and we got fucking lucky because we picked the date, and it happened to be Folk Fest, Lowell Folk Fest, which is like the
yeah,
largest free folk festival in the country, man. So the city was booming. It was a good day for sure, man.
yeah, I went up there for the town and the city festival that Chris Porter puts on every year, and I was
Yeah.
just up there for that. And Lowell,
Oh
I've
man.
always hoped would explode, and the art scene, man, is
Yeah,
what'll happen is if the art scene keeps getting bigger, the music scene is going to keep getting bigger, you know?
absolutely, man. All power to it.
Well, hey, Dan, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you taking the time, especially when you're on your way to a show.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. This was awesome,
My pleasure, man. And good luck to the band.
dude.
You guys are
Hell
good.
yeah, bro.
You guys are good.
Thank.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you.